Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, I'm going to be taking a look at Obsidian's Entertainment, Avowed, a sort of a Skyrim Lite type of game for them for the Xbox Series X and S. This is being played on Series S via Game Pass though. Game is also available on PC via Steam, and I believe it will be coming soon to the PS5 as well. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage, I will link down the description down below, or you can click on the card that will appear up on this video, assuming you're watching this either on YouTube or Patreon. And of course, the timestamps will also be in the description as well, in case there are any parts of the video you wish to skip to. And for parents out there, it's worth pointing out that Evolve is rated M for mature audiences only, ages 17 and up by the ESRB rating system though. The name Obsidian Entertainment is, for a lot of those who are into like the Western RPGs though, is a name that is familiar for some folks out there though. Most of them, they might recognize them from doing, their very own Pillars of Eternia series though, but they certainly has also gotten attention with some of the games that they have worked on throughout the years. Two in particular that caught my attention the most was basically Fallout New Vegas, which is still highly regarded as probably one of the best Fallout games for a lot of the Fallout fans though, and 2019's The Outer Worlds that was released on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, which would later get a Nintendo Switch version, and of course an updated complete edition under the name the Spatial Choice edition though. That game was very interesting because it came out at a time where Bethesda was not in the best spot following the launch of Fallout 76 and how that all played out though. And ever since basically Microsoft purchased Obsidian Entertainment, they've also purchased Bethesda as well. They've also done some games that also have made their way not only on the Game Pass and Xbox systems, but also basically to other systems as well. Some of them are like, I think, Pentiment though, which was a very interesting hand-drawn type of a game that basically was sort of 2D and sort of like a storybook type of approach though, but visually it looked really neat and everything. And of course, Grounded as well. They also did that game as well. That has made its way over to multiple systems though. So during one of Xbox's showcase a couple of years ago, however, they showed off a game or what looked like a proof of concept of what their next game was, basically called Avowed, which took place within the Pillars of Eternia universe though. Now, I will admit I've never really tried out the Pillars of Eternia series before. I may have had some dabs of it here and there, but never really got into it. But when I heard that Avowed was going to be sort of like a Skyrim kind of approach, I decided I was very curious to see how this game was. We did get some gameplay and some visuals of the game, and while the visuals weren't exactly great or anything like that, the gameplay, however, was sort of what caught my attention. It was definitely one that I was very curious to see once I got my hands on. Plus, the idea of a Skyrim Lite type of a game is certainly something that also caught my attention as well. So with the game finally coming out last year and all, I decided to give it a try, especially onto the Xbox Series S as well, since that's the system I have along with Game Pass. And after spending some time with Evolve, I will say that I did come away enjoying this game and all. Maybe not on the same scale as the first Outer Worlds or anything like that, but I definitely like this approach that they did with this Evolve game, and I definitely would be open to the idea if they do more of these type of games down the road, if it takes place in the similar universe of the Pillars of Eternia or something brand new and all. So I'm going to break this down into the pros and the cons. I will first start off with the pros and as I mentioned before though, I like the idea that this game is basically more of a Skyrim Lite type of a game. Now, for those who have played any Bethesda RPG or anything like that, their games can be very massive and all. Whether it's Skyrim, whether it's the upcoming Elder Scrolls 6, whether it's the Fallout series, or even Starfield for that matter though, they are known to be very very huge and everything like that. Some folks like that, some folks don't, to be exact though. But I do like the fact that, I do like the approach Obsidian has made with this one. While I am not against the type of Bethesda RPGs though, I do like that the world they created is a little bit, let's just say smaller, not huge or anything like that. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that the world isn't. I'm not saying the world is small in Evolve and all. It's still big, just maybe not on the scale of a Bethesda game. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing and all. And I'm certainly not against this being a Skyrim Lite game. Just like how I view the Outer Worlds in a way, kind of like a Starfield Lite to a certain degree. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing at all. The next thing I want to talk about is the customization in Evolve, and I think this is where I view as the game's strong point and all. Now, Evolve follows the same approach, similar to that if anybody has played, Elder Scroll, like Skyrim, or anything like that. It's basically, you could play it in first person or third person view, since that is available here though. And you do basically, it's kind of like, the action RPG approach that Bethesda games are known for indeed. You can once you level up, you can improve your character's stats and everything. You have companions and all. So it does take some pages out of what Bethesda is known for their games and all. But one thing I do like about this game is the customization, where you can basically sort of have like two kinds of setups in the game, and there are different varieties you could choose from, ranging from firearms to sword and shields to bow and arrows to even like spell books or even like wands and everything. So you could kind of sort of mix and match or set it up how you want to. For me though, I have it set up where my primary one is the sword and shield, and my secondary one is a spell book and a wand though. So me, I'm trying to aim for sort of like a magic knight to a certain degree. Maybe not 100% like it, but as close as I can get to it, to be exact though. And I really like that customization that they added into this game though. While I do wish that you had more than just two setups though, I still think that this was a really good approach that Obsidian did, and I would be open to seeing something similar like this in maybe like the upcoming, Elder Scrolls 6, whenever that comes out from Bethesda at all. So I definitely like the customization. I think that's definitely one of the big highlights I feel for Evolve and all. And last but not least, I do want to point out is the game, at least on the Series S though, I do want to stress that, is that the game does run at 30 frames per second though, and while I understand that may not be everyone's cup of tea and everything, I will say that 30 frames per second is just fine. I mean, it's not bad, it's not horrible or anything like that. So to me, for the most part, I felt like it was a stable 30 frames per second. I didn't see any, any situation that impacted the frame rate or anything like that. Yes, it doesn't have a performance mode like maybe on the Series X or like on or anything like that, but still, even at running at 30 frames per second, I don't think was as bad as some people would make it sound like it is and all. As far as the cons go for this game though, I will say that one con we do have is basically on the visual side though, and I do feel like it's kind of a hit and miss. Now, when the visuals were finally showed up for Evolve though, there were some people who questioned some of the visuals to the game. Some of it didn't look as good or anything like that. And after finally getting the hands on the final version, I would say the visuals for basically Evolve isn't bad. I mean, they look nice and everything. The environment looks good and all. But at the same time, some of it just doesn't look as impressive as some areas just don't look as impressive as other parts may look. So to me, the visuals are hit and miss. Not terrible, but not bad though, especially considering this game is running on Unreal Engine 5 and everything. And last but not least, I will say that while I have no issues with the game running at 30 frames per second though, I am a little disappointed, at least for the Series S, that there is no performance mode compared to what was on the Xbox Series X, which does have that option, although there has been some reports at the very least that the fact that the performance mode isn't stable on the Series X. Whether or not that's been fixed, I really don't know though. But in either case, it is a little bit unfortunate we don't have that here on the Series S version. Again, 30 frames per second isn't necessarily bad on the Series S, but I do kind of wish to some extent that they could have found a way to try to at least get a performance mode or try to get it running at 60 frames per second, even if, say, lowering the resolution to like 720p or something. So again, nothing to lose. I don't think it's nothing to lose sleep over, but I just think it's a little bit disappointing there was no performance mode, at least for the Series S version. Overall, I will say I did come away pleased with Evolve. I think it is a good game for the Xbox Series X and S though, and I definitely like this approach that Obsidian has made with this being the Skyrim Lite type of a game, just like how I view Outer Worlds as sort of like the Starfield Lite type of a game though. And fans of, like action RPGs or the kind of RPGs similar to what you see from Bethesda games would probably enjoy Evolve. At its best though, as I said many times, I like the idea of a Skyrim Lite type of a game. I think that's good. I think the customization in the game is definitely one of the strongest highlights for it though. I definitely like the mix and match approach to how you want your character to be, whether it's, different kinds of weapons to choose from and so forth. And for the Series S version though, again, it runs at 30 frames per second and I don't think that's a huge issue. But at its worst though, I will say the visuals are hit and miss, and it is a little unfortunate they couldn't find a way to get a performance mode for the Series S version. But in either case though, I still came away pleased with this one from Obsidian Entertainment, and I'm definitely looking forward to trying it out even more and digging through with Evolve. I wouldn't be against the idea if they decide to do a sequel to this. I don't know if they will or anything like that, but I wouldn't be opposed to the idea. And I certainly wouldn't be against the idea should they find a way to bring this over to the Switch 2, giving, Microsoft's multi-platform approach and everything like that though. And I am very curious to see exactly if any of the stuff from Evolve, if it makes its way in some form into the upcoming Elder Scrolls 6 from Bethesda and all. So it's going to be certainly interesting to see how that all plays out and everything like that. But in either case, I did enjoy Evolve though, and I will say Obsidian certainly had a good year for 2025 with this, and of course the Outer Worlds 2, something that I'm also playing as well. But in their case, I would say action RPG fans or fans of Bethesda's RPG should at least give Avowed a try, even if you have, especially if you have Game Pass and all. Okay, this concludes this video review, or my review of Evolve for the Xbox Series X and S, being played on Series S via Game Pass. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Evolve in general, though? Do you like the idea of a Skyrim Lite type of a game and everything? Do you like the fact that this takes place in the world of Pillars of Eternia? Do you like the whole customization in terms of the mix and match in terms of your play style and Evolve and all? Are you playing this on Series S in any way? Are you okay with it running at 30 frames per second, or do you wish they had a performance mode for the Series S version? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I have to say? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Excuse me. And I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal, me, Patreon, or Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video, so you watch this either on YouTube or Patreon. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!